I have to keep moving. I have people that believe in me. So many people that believe in what I do. So many that want to see me succeed or do well. And I want to pass along that feeling to others who have done much in my life over the past couple years. I have to keep moving. Hey everybody, it's your buddy Beard Grizzly, and this is just my, I guess you could call these like little rambling sessions with Beard or whatever, but I want to make these more of a constant thing. My message today, however, goes out towards creators that are looking for either a little bit of a lift or just need a little help, something of that notion. You might have found that over the last several months, content hasn't exactly been constant for me on my end, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm fighting a lot of stuff mentally, but I'm also fighting a lot of stuff in terms of what I've been seeing on a day-to-day basis, or what it is that might be like bringing me down or affecting my mental state. And I really want to make sure that you guys know partially what's going on with me, even though I'm kind of an open book about that stuff on either Twitter or Discord or elsewhere. But I'm just making sure that you guys know that everything is okay on my end, and it really just comes down to me working through things on a day-to-day basis. Twitter has kind of turned into this thing that I said I was never going to use, and I've started to actually use it a little bit more often. I've started to actually found myself as kind of almost a therapeutic thing, sort of like what YouTube has been for me as well, just to post my thoughts initially and then to go back through them as almost a timeline or small diary entry in a way, just to know what was going on at that moment so I can reflect on it and so on. So one of those tweets I actually want to read here, which actually came from earlier in the week. Last night went out with my sister to a family party. After that went to watch Bohemian Rhapsody. We proceeded to ball for the rest of the evening. It was a late night with an early morning. I'm hoping to get a message to you guys in the next couple days. Some may need it. And that's exactly what this video is intended to be. That message. I don't intend for this to be a review of Bohemian Rhapsody, but after of course mentioning it in the tweet, it's sort of hard for me to not talk about it a little bit. What I want to get across when it comes down to that movie, one, if you're a Queen fan, I think you should go see it. Just going to put that out there now. It was definitely a very well done homage film. Overall, it actually hit on a lot of points I was sort of hoping they would really take part in, that, you know, Freddie Mercury didn't exactly lead the most clean of lives or anything like that, but in the end wanted to make sure that he was doing something, or at least that is what Queen wanted us to see of Freddie before his end. And I think overall that is a good message to sort of leave people out on. And overall the one I'm hoping I can sort of leave with you guys. No matter what life you have lived in the past, no matter what you've done previously, I hope that ultimately you can move forward and try to do some good in your lives for either, you know, reaching out online or with friends or family, anything of that notion. That is my hope. It actually leads back to another tweet that I had sent out not too long ago. Yeah, I'm going to be referencing a lot of tweets here, so deal with me for a little while here. I just sent this to someone in a DM, but it's where I'm at. I used to be able to bust out 3 videos in a week like it was effing nothing. Now I can't, and it's not from lack of topics. What I found myself kind of running into is this issue, or this overall issue, that I would either think that I'm either not good enough to be on this platform, or that I really can't do a whole ton, or that overall my message and the things that I say aren't reaching that many people like they used to. And though these are all true, there are elements in here that I can't really help. There's, of course, the ever-changing possibility of how YouTube is, and we all know how that one is at this point. There's, of course, the ever-changing places in how Destiny has been, since, of course, that's what I mainly cover. And part of that comes on my fault because I'm not covering other titles or talking about other things. There's a lot of elements in there that ultimately I want to strive to push past and to do something a little bit more, and to also still cover the stuff that I want to cover. Destiny is still a topic and still a game that I really have passion for and I really care about. You can hear me on either Focus Fire Chat or again in Twitter or Discord. I still talk about it very often. And when I get the chance to actually sit down and play the game, it's the same thing. I really enjoy playing the title. So for me, it's hard for me to wrap around my head like why people don't necessarily like it as much as I do or anything like that. But then I just push all that aside, and I'm trying to get better at doing that. I'm just saying, you know what? I'm passionate for this. Who cares if anybody else is? Ultimately, that's what it kind of comes down to. I appreciate any of you that are here and have the same passion that I do. And ultimately, I think that's what I've been missing out of some of my content lately. Hasn't necessarily been passion for the topic, but it's been my own personal passion in what I've been doing, in what I have effectively been trying to portray towards you guys, and what it is I can attempt to do on a daily or typical basis for you guys. Even if it's some video I made last year, I hope that I can still give you a message of trying to push on or trying to think about something you hadn't done before, just anything like that. That actually comes back to a tweet that Isabel had said, I think that was about last week as well, but she said, I woke up to a DM asking how I can make jokes when there's natural disasters, shootings, and political unrest happening. We need laughter and smiles, even if the moment is fleeting. It keeps us from being swallowed up by anger and depression, which surrounds us like a constant storm. And I think that this tweet pretty well hits exactly what it is that I tried to do back when I started. It was the thing that really kind of kept me going, and I was able to change how it was my energies were being able to be put inward and then present to you guys outwardly. I was in a very depressive state. I was highly emotional, and I was highly to the point of course, thinking about offing myself a few dozen times, I think, in the last couple years, or a couple years before I started this, I should say. There we go. But Isabel is absolutely right. Entertainment is the thing that makes me smile, it makes me laugh, it makes me think a little bit further about what it is that I want to see happen within the world, or what it is that I would like to see as a means to show somebody a bit of hope or a bit of showcase of what good is actually in the world. I think that is something that we're kind of missing as time has gone by. It's worrisome in a way, or at least in essence is something that kind of bothers me. And I do hope that overall we can continue to do that, or I can continue to do that for you guys, and make it so that you have a little bit of smiles and laughter throughout your day. And if you're a creator, if you are somebody that is, of course, doing the same thing I'm doing now, to remember to keep that in the back of your mind, to reach out to somebody and just to make sure that they effectively are also smiling or having a better day because of what it is that you're producing. As I see a good majority of negative content that's being produced out there, and negative, I want to stress that, not critiquing, but negative, there is a big difference in terms of how all of that is being produced. There is critical thinking that is effectively involved in some critique that needs to be out there, and I do appreciate a lot of the critique that is being done out on the internet. But there is still a good solid amount of either what I could frankly say is bullying, or just shit talking, or just really just nothing that's going to help anyone whatsoever. Ultimately, just realize what the difference is between being critical and what it is between being negative. There are differences in terms of how you decide to portray yourself and what it is that you portray on your content. And I hope that anytime I do create something, it is either in a critical manner to make you think, or it is something that's supposed to be entertaining and make you laugh. But the largest reason that I have this message going around is because a dear friend of mine has been suffering, of course, for the last, really longer than the last month. And that is, of course, my name is Bife. If you guys haven't been keeping up with what's been going on for him lately, there was a bout where he just said, I need to take a step away from all of this. And I really would not blame him in the least. And I didn't blame him in the least for taking the time off. I think he's actually doing better, even from the little bits I've been able to get to talk with him in his time away from home and being able to take a vacation again. It was good for him to do. But someone else was inspired by what Bife was going through, and he actually put a video together that goes through all the snippets and pieces of everybody that tries to uplift our Guardian throughout Destiny and Destiny 2 and just be like, keep pushing forward, you're the best, you're awesome. And that's the kind of stuff that I hope that we can continue to kind of inspire each other to do on a day-to-day basis. Bife was definitely in a bad spot, and I think that that definitely did help him a little bit, just to see that there are people that care. And if you can easily, or at least effectively, show to people that you also care, that goes a long way. It can help somebody in a downed position or down state that they might be in, if they're either depressive or if they're just having a really bad day, if they're just having a tough time, anything of that nature could really help them. And I will always say could, because we never really know exact situations, of course. But just try to be a good friend, try to be a good person, and ultimately that's all that it comes down to. So there might be some reiteration that goes on here as we go along. There might be some typical themes that you're used to hearing, but I think they're all worth repeating. They're all things that are worthwhile in talking about, and they're definitely all worth just sitting back and saying, you know what? I can tell somebody to try this instead of being a belligerent fool about it in a way. Just if somebody says, "Hey, do you know where this restaurant is?" Don't be that jerk that says, "What? Don't you guys have phones?" Anyway, I had to get that one in there somewhere. So the whole and entire idea, of course, just be good to each other. And if you are a content creator as well, think about that for the legacy that you're leaving up on your channel or otherwise. Have that be something that pushes somebody to do something different. And it's, again, different for being critical and being negative. Always think about that as you go through your content or go through a day-to-day basis as well, because that what you do on a day-to-day basis can influence how it is that you are when you sit in front of your microphone. And I know that firsthand. But to those that have been wondering about myself in particular, just know that I'm doing okay. Everything's just been a little rocky. It's been up and down. I've been going through some bouts of, well, my own mental demons and whatnot as well. There's been some family stuff that otherwise came up as well, and some of it good, not a lot of it great, but we've been able to push through it as well and just make sure that everything's been okay and taken care of. But I'm hoping that I can create content more like this and it reaches out to some of you that might need it. I know not everybody will click on this. I know that not everybody is here for this kind of content, but this is still the kind of stuff that I want to do on an occasional basis. I also want to get into commentary a little bit more too, because of how much that has actually been going on in the industry lately. Things are making a change, and some of it's great and some of it not necessarily. So I'm really hoping that we can sit down and talk about that more nitty-gritty here soon enough. In fact, you might even see a video like that posted right now. I don't know what my release schedule is going to look like at the moment. You'll see some different content from me now and again, and ultimately it comes down to a different kind of poll that I had posted a couple months back, which basically asks, hey, how is it that you guys want to see me, or what kind of content do you want me to create, etc.? And ultimately came down to the ones that had actually responded saying, just make what you want to make. And that was at least uplifting enough to me. I also had asked you guys about how you digest your lore, or what it is that you do with your lore. And I know that there are plenty of people out there, especially with Destiny, that do get a chance to sit down and read it, but not everybody does. So even if it's something basic, I feel that going forward, I have a better idea and better understanding that I need to cover stuff in a more even simplified fashion. For instance, I have a follow-up that I want to do to the Eva video here soon enough, and I also have something else that sort of pertains off of what was happening with Eva a little bit more, and also reread those cards back to you guys too. I want to have that in audiobook format as best I can. We'll just see how releases go, as I mentioned before. Things got tied up as soon as I ended up making that video, so moving on. Per always, thank you guys for your support as best you can give it. Just go out, have a good day, smile to somebody. If you're not having a good day, tell somebody about it. You've got friends, I'm sure you've got family. Just sit and talk with them about it and get it off your chest as best you can. For me, you guys are partially my family, so this is a way for me in order to kind of get everything off of my chest and actually get it kind of out there in the open. I don't necessarily have anything to hide, and I think that you guys are worthwhile in me saying anything I have to say. So I'm done kind of hiding that at this point. I used to do a weekly update video. I don't think it'll be quite that bad, but we'll still be sitting and talking about this stuff a little bit more often. Anyway, to everybody else, you know the buttons to press. Thank you guys very much for sitting and listening to me. And if you guys have anything you want to say to me or anything else that I've helped you out with in the past, or anybody that you've met through this community has helped you out with in the past as well, please let me know below or get in touch with them, etc. Just anything you can, just to uplift each other's spirits, especially in a time right now where things are, well, not exactly publicized to be the nicest or the greatest. Again, thank you guys for watching, and to Guardians and non-Guardians alike, I'll see you next Spacetime. Take care.